What's up, everyone? Scotty from Chernobyl Studios. Today we are looking at the Blackstar Amped 3. It's basically like a 100-watt complete amplifier. We have a lot of things to talk about. And as far as sound-wise goes, I'm going to look at the sound using third-party IRs, but also the included Blackstar Architect software, which I did look at already when we talked about the Department 10 distortion pedal a while ago. I'm just going to change the camera view so I can see the pedal here. You're already sitting on the screen because magic, right? So you heard already in the demo song that it's kind of like a metal machine. Now, I didn't do anything extra there. I did not use any third-party tube screamers or distortion pedals or anything else. That's just the Amp 3 going into third-party IRs. All right, and the third-party IR that I have here, I'm using PRISM, which is in pre-release right now from Spectre Digital. I'll leave a link down to that below, but it's one of the included angle IRs in PRISM that I really like, that I've been using on a lot of songs recently. So let's go over the basic premise of I'm going to call it a pedal here, but it's basically like a giant amp, right? So like it's 3 channels here, and then you got the boost, which also puts this into manual mode here, which we'll talk about just a second. I mean, basically it's pretty straightforward, right? Gain, volume, boost, bass, middle, treble, ISF, which is like their voice shaping. We'll go over that here. Reverb built in, light and dark version of the reverb, presence control and master, 3 different response, power amp response here, the amount of wattage that you might want to use. I'm going right at this moment. I have this plugged into a load box, so I'm using 100 watts. You don't have to do that, but this is plenty loud enough. Reverb switch over here. Now, when I switch back and forth like this, you'll see the parameters are changing, right? So right now I'm in what's called patch mode, and patch mode is a great way of just saying, hey, these are stored settings that you have for each different type of mode here. So for example, if I'm playing overdrive, now I can go ahead and tweak it, right? But the moment I click on crunch, for example, and then I come back to overdrive, these settings don't matter. So what is happening on here, it doesn't matter at all because I'm in patch mode. So I could change these at the moment when I'm doing something, but then when I go back to clean, crunch, or overdrive or something like that, the settings basically on the board here are erased and they go back into what was stored, right? So in order to get out of this, you would have to hold down the boost button here, which puts it into manual mode. All right. So let's just go ahead and do that. We'll put that into manual mode and we'll just hold the button. All right, now all the lights turn white now to show that I'm in manual mode. The only thing I've really noticed here, like I don't know if you're in manual mode with the clean channel. I always have to switch back, but like, oh, okay, the crunch is white light also. So there's no real way to know if I'm in patch mode or manual mode when the clean channel is on. The only thing I know is that the patch mode is the default starting mode of the Amp 3. So when you turn this on, it's in patch mode, but if you're clicking back and forth, it's kind of like a game of Simon Says, is it in patch mode? Is it in manual mode? You just never know. So you have to click on crunch or overdrive to see if the lights turn orange or red respectively, and then you'll know, right? So now what manual mode means is that anything I do on here is reflected, okay? And the settings matter, okay? So you'll notice straight away here that you're gonna want to save your settings if you have a difference between crunch and overdrive, because if you go to overdrive and then you put on the boost button here and you change, for example, you want, I don't know, let's keep it at ELO 34s, and then you change all this, you'll go back and all these settings will be for the crunch now and the clean, and then back on the overdrive. Nothing really changes on the board unless you have saved the settings, okay? A couple of things to know about saving settings. For example, the reverb doesn't save. You can go ahead and save it. Right. So I just pressed down on overdrive to save this setting, right? Now I go to crunch and I don't want the reverb, so I turn that off. Great, fantastic. And then I'm like, yeah, you know what? I want the reverb with my reverb back. or the overdrive with my reverb back, and then doesn't get recalled. I don't know really why it's like that. It doesn't, again, it's really interesting, these kind of pedal platforms, you know, because I'm mostly a studio musician. If I were to play live, I would keep the pedal board as simple as possible. This is a great way to do that. Yeah, I don't know about like getting, I would probably come up with settings that I like and then leave it like that. And then just know that, damn it, I'm gonna have to click on reverb if I want a clean channel. And that's kind of weird. So uh this thing is amazing. It sounds awesome. Like definitely highly recommended sound wise, especially for recording into IRs. It takes IRs very well, very nicely. Not on the board, I mean, when you're recording through them and such. Creating tones, fantastic. I really enjoy the way that this sounds, and you know, you got a built-in reverb tank, which isn't half bad. Pretty atmospheric. I really like the way that sounds. And you can change between a dark and a light voicing for the reverb. So you can get pretty atmospheric, and that would work well in a black metal sense, playing live, for example. Let's turn that off for right now. Okay. But, you know, we can go through the clean and the crunch, but it's really not what I do here. I am metal. I'm all about high gain. And when I talked to Blackstar, I said, hey, I want to see what this can do for black metal. And you guys know what it can do for black metal, but let's go ahead and create a guitar tone. And we're done. So that was easy, pretty easy guitar tone. I'm kidding. So I'm playing on my BC Rich version NJ with EMG pickups here in standard E tuning, just so you know. I'm not going to use any extra pedals to do anything on here. To note, it should be noted that on the back here, there are two AC adapters where you can plug in, I think it's up to 500 milliamps, I think is what it is. So you could get a gate, a tuner, or a gate and a distortion and a gate and an overdrive, whatever you want to do for here. But you can put that right into the board, and especially on the desk, don't need any other extra cables or power supplies. That's pretty neat. Okay. Don't know why they couldn't just like put a tuner on the thing, because I know Amp 2 has a tuner, but you know, it's different. So let's go ahead and check out the sounds here. Remember, I'm playing through the PRISM IR platform right now. I'm playing with the what is it, the Angle V60s. I can probably just, no, I'll take a screenshot and post, and I'll put it in here so you guys can see later. All right. So there's everything down the middle. Let's go ahead and create something here. So I always start with the presence, as I do. Now, in the case of the Blackstar, you know, kind of like, I don't want to say that. Okay. So when you have tonal characteristic knobs, you know, knobs that will change the tone of something that you're doing, tweak those first before you go to the main tone stack. That sounds really nice. The other tonal characteristics we can do here are warm, bright, crunch, super crunch, OD1, OD2. Don't really hear the difference there. Maybe I'm not. Maybe it's for the cleans only. That actually would make more sense. These are for the cleans and these are for the crunch. Obviously, overdrive is OD or OD2. That was silly, wasn't it? That's without the boost, by the way, guys. That is just OD2. Wow. I'll keep the 84s. Man, I mean, it sounds amazing. We can't fault it at all. It sounds freaking amazing, actually. All right. So what I'm going to do now is clearly, playing into third-party IRs. It's a big thumbs up, right? So if you have an IR loader or a little, that you want to put on your pedal board, or you're going to use this on the desk in the studio, you're good to go, dude. You literally don't need anything else. This is great. All right. I recorded that demo song only with this, didn't need anything else. And dude, I don't know what it is about Blackstar, but it's like unironically, this is like a black metal machine. Uh, when I did the two notes revolt, same kind of thing, but I like this more than the revolt. Definitely has a lot more high gain. It's more, I want to say organic, but that's not what I mean. I'm getting the sounds that I expect to hear for the genre that I want to get a sound for, right? So when I'm thinking black metal, I'm making the moves and I'm getting everything that I would expect to hear out of it. Really nice. And if someone only had, for example, like I think this is like 650 bucks, 700 bucks, somewhere around there. If someone wanted an all-in-one solution where I'm going to play live with this, I'm going to record on the desk with this in the studio. This thing is amazing. Amazing bang for your buck. Really impressive. Okay. So let's go ahead and plug in now and show the cab rig, which is included here. So I need to disconnect from the Torpedo Captor X, and then I need to plug in through the XLR into my Apollo. Let me do that really quick, and I'll be back in just a second. All right, I got everything plugged in. So now you're hearing the guitar tone from the included amp rig software. So I just plugged it in. I have no idea what's happening here. Let's look at the interface. Now, this interface reminds me actually of the Department 10 software, and that would make sense since it's the Blackstar Architect software. So let's go ahead and just open this. We can see now that we have a digital representation of the settings on the AMP3, which it doesn't matter to me because I can go ahead and turn them here. And then they don't turn on the AMP3. But if I turn them on the AMP3, they turn on the software. I mean, that's cool. But let's say, for example, you're recording something or you DI'd something or something like that, and then you're sitting at the computer and you're so used to working with amp simulators that you've moved something here and then you forget about it and then you don't save it. And that's kind of weird, okay? But I don't really care about the software. I don't think a lot of people are using the software to do guitar tone crafting. I think what's going to happen, they're not going to look at that. They're going to go right over here to the cab config. And they're going to start building tones. So let's just, okay, they did change the design of this a little bit. All right. It's a bit, okay, so everything comes up, all these different, there's a lot of clicky click click. After using PRISM, which is one click or double click and kind of get where I want to go. This is kind of annoying now. All these extra clicks. So this is so without the visual representation, you wouldn't know what axis that would be on. That's odd. All right. So let's go ahead and create a tone from scratch. Let's see what some of the defaults. Blackstar, come on guys, you got to fix that. I already talked about this in Department 10. This quick fade in and fade out. It's very distracting. It's not, no. It makes it significantly harder to work on tones, guys, because I don't want to have to click it, wait for that fade in and fade out, and then it's a play on the ears. I want to hear the exact differences between the R's. I don't want to hear that fade in, fade out. So that's kind of disappointing that they really haven't done anything about that, or I'm the only person that's mentioned it. All right, let's do something with this, I guess. So let's do low cut. Gotta get the low cut out of there. Let's pick a different microphone. It's not responsive. See, the other thing too about this software is if you click it, now it's loaded in. I have to wait. And I click here and I can't, so I can't work as fast as I normally would in the cab brake software. So this would be like straight up no bueno for me, guys. I wouldn't even think to use this for creating tones, because there are things that are like PRISM, for example, significantly faster. It's just faster. I can create a tone faster. Okay. All right. So small room, I don't want any room at all. So that's muted. Okay, that's cool. Muted. Level, all right, lows. I mean, to be fair, I did it without my thing at 0 here. I mean, it sounds good. It sounds nice. I'm not complaining about how it sounds. I mean, this is better than I expected it to be. I wasn't too hot with the Department 10 IRs. Either they've worked on the IRs a little bit, or this just unit is significantly better than the Department 10. Well, for the price, it would make sense. But you gotta remember, this is a modeler. This is not like a tube thing at all. It's a modeler, so there's a difference. But working wise, I'm just not too impressed with this. It's way too slow. I just want to click, 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 click. I want to hear everything. It's not as fast as I would like to work. Sound wise though, like I don't hate it. I think the IRs and Prism sound better, but that's personally speaking. There's nothing wrong with this. I could get it to work within a mix. But what I would do then, obviously, is I would, just like I did with the Department 10, I would save it. I think local patches. It doesn't. Oh, look, that's funny. It remembers my patches from when I did the Department 10. That's cool. So that's pretty neat. So I mean, that makes sense because you got an account and it's all on the Blackstar Architect software. So that makes sense. Okay, that's pretty neat. But then, I mean, what I think this means though is if you're going to create something with the pedal and you want to have it on here like as a preset, I think you're only able to use the IRs that are found here. So if some of the IRs are not to your liking, or you would want to use the IR that you want to have, let's say you have your own cab or something like that, I think you're pretty much SOL, or you need to use an an IR loader plugin on your pedal board or a different IR loader in Cubase or something like that. So not that bad, not the end of the world. Okay, so my final thoughts here are if you are going to be recording in the studio, you want to have a low key setup, you don't want to have a bunch of gear, you don't want to have a bunch of stuff taking up room. This is really nice. This sounds really nice. I'm very happy with the sounds that I came up with using third-party IRs. I'm rather impressed, to be honest. And while I could do that with my JCM 900 or obviously the Angle and stuff like that, I think it would take a little bit more tweaking. This was almost just plug it in, hit record, and it just has that particular sound that sounds very transistory, I guess we could call it like that, and great for black metal. So I could absolutely recommend it if you're looking for an on-the-desk solution that you just want to have on hand, that's easy to use. You can just plug it into your audio interface. Or if you have a load box, you can do that too, but you can use this as an audio interface as well. It has its own drivers, like when you plug it into the computer with the USB, it comes up like, hey, you want to use the AMPED 3 as an audio interface. So you could do low latency recording that way too if you wanted. Or I don't know how I would feel like if you want to use this as a live rig, but if you're traveling, there's headphones that you can play in the background. So it would be a great hotel just practicing rig if you want to have that if you're traveling, or if you're gonna go play a show. I mean, you just want to put everything in your backpack, totally usable. Just collect right to go right to front of house. It sounds great. And for me, this is going to go straight into people who say, I want the 90s black metal style sound, but that doesn't sound like total crap. I'm going to use this absolutely. It's just way easier. I can just bloop, plug it in and I'm done. So I'm impressed with it. I really like it. I would like to say thank you to Blackstar for sending this to me and sponsoring this video. It's amazing to be able to do this kind of content for them. I'm very appreciative with the company just being willing to work with me. I really appreciate that. So big thumbs up to the guys at Blackstar. They did send this to me. I do get to keep it, and they did sponsor the video. So just want to be upfront with you guys about that. But that has nothing to do with what I think about this. Obviously, it sounds great. Obviously, it sounds good. Great result in the mix. Great result when I'm just sitting here tinkering with it in standard E. Okay. So if you know what you're doing, it's going to sound fantastic. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Links for this at Thomann and Sweetwater are in the description. If you guys consider getting anything musically related at all, please consider the links. It helps me a lot, helps keep the channel going. As you guys know, I pretty much do music full time, whether I'm mixing clients or doing YouTube's videos like this, or my recent Patreon video, which I've put a dickload of content on that already. Wow. All the links for that stuff down below. Once again, affiliate links for this unit will be at Thomann and Sweetwater, so you can go pick that up if you'd like to. And that'll do it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.